So there it is, guys. If anybody has ever told you before that the in-body stabilization on these Sony cameras don't really do anything for video, you now have the results. Good morning. Today is day 20 of isolation since work has shut down. Yesterday I kind of failed. I said I was gonna make a video every day until the end of this isolation thing, and yeah, I was still finishing the day before's video. I bit off more than I can chew as usual, but something that I've been wondering about for a while. I bought the Sony a6500 because of its IBIS, but then I have a friend who works at a camera store, and when I bring up the reason why I bought Sony is because the stabilization makes it good for photos and video. His rebuttal was that it does nothing for video. I do love this camera, but I've never actually tested to see whether or not the IBIS actually improves the stabilization of video. So today we're going to do a short test of that. Hopefully redeem myself and get a video finished. First, we're going to have a little change of scenery. When you're in isolation, you end up with way too many clothes. Lucky enough, Lisa is home today. She's a healthcare worker, so she has to continue to go to work. Today she has off. She can watch Levi, and I can go deal with this necessity. I'm gonna miss you, monster. Have a good day. Happy feet? Happy feet.
Dance, dance, dance.
Okay, well, it's crazy how much laundry a family of 3 can actually produce in 2 weeks. So I'm extremely happy that I got something to do today. I want to show you guys something. Okay, so this here is the Sony a5000. This is the lens that came with it. It's the kit lens, small 16-50, not the sharpest lens, not the biggest fan of the color that comes out of it. But the key thing about this was that it was stabilized. Reason why I went with that setup is because it was the cheapest, yet seemed to be the most capable for that price. Like I said before, it was about 500 bucks. The problem with this was the video. There was no slow motion, no 60 frames per second, no 120 frames per second, and no in-body stabilization on this camera. The only stabilization came in the lens. It's the jitteriness that really we want to avoid, and that's what I had a problem with this camera setup. When I started doing my vlogs, I really liked that it had a flip-up screen. I actually sacrificed a flip-up screen to go with the a6500 for smoother footage because I knew it had the IBIS. My point to this ramble here is that when my friend said to me that, oh, the IBIS in those Sony cameras doesn't do anything for video, I automatically argued with him and then thought about it afterwards that I never actually tested that out. And the fact that I improved my skills and went up and above with small other things, including the 120 frames per second, I thought to myself, I really don't know how much of an impact this IBIS actually makes. I've never actually turned it off in this camera. The Sony IBIS, I gotta say, has been great for pictures. I know that it works really well because I can get sharp images at even like 1/20th of a second, which is crazy. For video, never tested it out. We're about to do it right now. I got lots of time, so let's get her done. All right, coming to you, GoPro mode, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Know that I'm not cheating the system here. I got my mom's dogs for a subject, so you can kind of get a sense of how much shake there is from the atmosphere around plus the subject in the middle. We're gonna kind of do like a real live test. And this is my camera setup. Today we are using the Sigma. I figured this would be, I love vlogging with this. It sucks that it has no zoom, but It's a very crisp, nice looking lens, great color. I figured it'd be great for this test because it's a prime without any stabilization. When I turn the stabilization or the in-body stabilization off, we will be running with absolutely nothing, and then when I turn it on, that is the only stabilization. There will be no lens stabilization whatsoever. Got my little mic that I put on my top panel, and recently bought this because I almost dropped my camera a couple of times. Love it. So we just passed a neighbor, want to make sure I'm practicing my distancing. Anyways, first test we're gonna do off, second test we're gonna do with the stabilization on. Then the third, we're gonna do it off again, but we're gonna do more of a run situation, kind of chase the dogs. And then we'll try it with the same situation with that back on now. Steady shot, off. All right, so first test. Okay, come on, kitty. Hey, come on. Pull my screen up a bit, get the dogs in there. We're doing a walk. No stabilization, just the top handle. I like to hold it close to me, let the camera hang, put my hand underneath it just to keep it from swaying. No pressure whatsoever. Doing my ninja walk. No stabilization. Okay, that was test number 1. Now, I'm gonna do the same thing. Steady shot on. All right. Now we're doing the same thing. Just got it hanging. Use my hand for support so it doesn't sway. Kitty. Jack's a little slower because he's an old guy. Been running hard his whole life. Yeah. So now comes the real test where it's going to be a little more bouncy. We're going to do a little bit of a run. Come on, puppies. This way. So steady shot off. And we're chasing kitty. Running, no steady shot, just the handle. I'm still trying to kind of ninja walk it, pick up the pace. Good girl. And now we'll do that same test with it on. All right, here we go. Go, 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 go. Here comes the sun. Come on, go. Get up there.
So there it is, guys. If anybody has ever told you before that the in-body stabilization on these Sony cameras don't really do anything for video, you now have the results. Future self hijacking this conclusion, because the first one that I filmed, I watched the samples on the back of my camera and I thought to myself that my friend was kind of right. Like, I really only noticed a tiny bit of difference in the overall movement and jitters. I thought to myself, maybe this IBIS really doesn't do all that much for video. Until I put it on the computer screen to edit the side-by-side. On a larger view, I realized that the IBIS dramatically increased the quality of the video. And if you guys didn't notice this earlier, it's probably because you were looking at the overall movement like I was. That, and maybe because you're watching on a small phone or tablet, In which case, at this point, you should probably turn it horizontally to get the largest view possible. Sorry, the noise is my son in the background. I'm gonna play just a couple of seconds again from that running side-by-side clip, and now have another look, not at the movement, but the overall quality. It's quite impressive, the difference, and you might not see it exactly how I'm seeing it on the computer, which is why I also took a still frame. Now look at this still frame here. I took both samples from the IBIS and the non-IBIS, at which point the camera was shifting from one direction to another, which would be where the shake or movement was most dramatic. And you can see a huge difference in the sharpness, how blurry the non-IBIS and how clear the IBIS version is. And that to me means that yes, IBIS did not turn my Sony camera into a gimbal, but it does definitely do something to the image quality of video. This is the thing, if you see any difference on a small screen like a phone, imagine the amount of quality difference you will notice when you blow a video up like onto a computer screen or a TV screen. When you're making video and you're spending money on a DSLR camera that's like $1,000 or $2,000, then quality means everything. As you can see right now, I am holding this one-handed, and if I were to compare this footage to the old footage on my other A5000, it would be super shaky. I would have to like literally emphasize my movement with this camera to make it look the same. So yes, it does work. It's not a huge difference, but it does work. If you guys were looking at a Sony camera and wondering what it does for your footage, now you know. I hope this video helped you, and I hope that I can make some other videos in the future that does help you as well. If you guys are wondering anything else about these Sony cameras, let me know. Put it questions down in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to see more, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Peace.